Well, hello there, and welcome to Season 4, Episode 10 of the Rink Moose Hockey Podcast, an episodic podcast where two, sometimes three, sometimes four, sometimes five good friends gather around a table, a hot tub, a pool, a bed, a balcony, all sorts of things to discuss all things NHL and their implications in the fantasy hockey universe. I am one of your hosts, as always, Nick Costu, along with my good pal, Kyle Nice. Kyle, how are you doing on this lovely Tuesday afternoon, Toronto, on my little balcony here? 25 degrees, just a perfect day in Toronto.
Good. Yeah, I think you nailed it with the new intro. That's perfect. The bed, the balcony, the pool, the bar, the hot tub.
Yeah, that's a new one.
This is great. We're doing more of a destination wedding, so to speak. So, yeah, beautiful day. A lot of really crazy things to talk about, not just the games, but there's some drama that I cannot believe Nick has not heard about this yet. So I'm about to drop this on the show live, and it's pretty hilarious. And I can't believe Joe hasn't messaged us about it either, because he'd be ripping me immediately.
I only got one thing from you, and I'll get into that later on.
Okay. So do you want me to start with the drama?
Let's do it.
Okay. So you know what?
Just breaking news?
Yeah. Okay. Well, here. Why don't you? Okay. So I'll start with Sammy Blais. Two bits of like personal life drama. Sammy Blais. I don't even know if this is appropriate to say on the show, but it's hockey news, I guess. So Connor McDavid and Sammy Blais are both headlining the news for two very separate reasons. Sammy Blais is headlining in the news, and it's super awkward for me to even say, but he's been commenting on his sister's Instagram photos, inappropriate things.
Okay.
So I don't even know where to start with that, but Sammy Blais is commenting on his sister's Instagram that they are, quote unquote, me off the record, sexy photos, which is very odd. And people are coming out of the woodwork to say, "Oh, that's just how French Canadians speak to each other." But I'm like, and everyone else is like, "This is fucking weird. Just weird, super weird." The McDavid thing. McDavid, I don't know what he's hammered in some town in Germany. It looks like.
Really?
Yep.
What are you doing?
He's with Zach Castian, hammered in Germany, and he's walking in the middle of the street. Yes, I'm gonna pull it up.
Why have I not seen this?
I'll pull it up.
Yeah. It can be a little tricky out here, so hopefully.
Well, actually, I don't have Wi-Fi anyway, so you got to pull it up.
Okay. I'll do this on data. Is it a short video?
Very short video. But McDavid is walking in the middle of the road, streets of Germany, with Zach Cassian and some other folks. If you want to take a wild guess as to who these other folks might be.
Very interesting.
I'll let you pull up the video and see it for yourself.
Yeah, that guy definitely looks like a You're fucking paparazzi.
So he got... Look. Oh. So we got... Oh, it continues. Oh, no. Right. So what we're seeing here is McDavid obviously holding hands in the middle of Germany with another woman who is not his girlfriend. And, yeah, it's been all over the news. All over Twitter is blowing up for the last 48 hours on both these guys just fucking up. So what are your initial thoughts on this?
I have a lot to say here. So this did actually come up yesterday. I was in the car yesterday with a couple of my friends coming home from the cottage, and one of my friends mentioned something about McDavid caught downtown Toronto. That's what I was told. Holding hands with this girl who's clearly not his girlfriend. His girlfriend, we all, of course, know from that famous house tour video that they posted several months back. And I was like, he asked me, he's like, Nick, like, what's going on here? He's not a hockey fan, this guy, but he's well connected with the social media and all that, and he heard of this stuff. And he did some digging, my friend. And yes. I'm not naming names on this show. No, we're not doing this on the show. You can talk to him when you see him in person one day. He has a source. No, he has a friend who has a source because he's very close friends with Connor that basically told me that Connor McDavid and his girlfriend basically have themselves an open relationship. That's the thesis statement. The logic of the specifics being, so long as when he is outside of Edmonton, when he is in Edmonton, he has to spend all of his time with his girlfriend. When he is outside of Edmonton, he can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Really?
That's their deal.
How solid is this resource?
My friend had it on good authority that this is their open relationship, and that's why it's getting a lot of play for people like you who aren't privy to this information. But his girlfriend, when she saw this, probably wasn't that surprised for that very reason. And so you can call it despicable, you can call it cold, you can call it sad, you can call it toxic, call it whatever you want. But the reality of the situation is they have this deal. I'm not going to get into anything more than that. I'm not going to get into who's in the right, who's in the wrong, what the those are moral questions that aren't for this table. But that's the salient point, and that's why it's so funny you showing me that video 24 hours after this conversation with my friend. Right. I can immediately attest to what I'm seeing.
Well, that's why when I asked you, did you hear about the drama, you didn't know what I was talking about. Because to you, this is not very dramatic.
To me, this is more something that's been going on for a while. And this girl we're seeing in this video is probably just victim number blank, you know?
Yeah, victim. Yeah, I mean, personally, I don't see it as such a huge indictment on who he is. If that checks out what you say, it's not a huge indictment on who he is as a guy. However, there's a reason, Nick, that this is a Canadian hockey player from my hometown who's the best in the league, and I don't have his jersey, and I never really have wanted to. Mm-hmm. There's something up with this guy, for me personally, and this kind of just validates I wouldn't buy a jersey of someone like this, you know? I respect him as a player, I still do. I think this will blow over relatively quickly, but it's not a guy I want on my wall, if that makes sense. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. And we've never been Connor guys. No. I don't think either one of us is looking at videos of him every morning and going, "Oh my God, like he's a great player," but we've never really been Connor guys, you know. So I'm not gonna think too much about this. And I'm sure, like to your point, it probably will die down. But yeah, just thought I'd share that piece of info with you, and I do believe it's true. So this is the girl, eh?
This is the sister of Sammy Blais.
Oh.
You could scroll more. Some other photos. Just weird.
Oh wait, there's just
Yeah, this is just like.
Oh, sexy. Pomo sexy.
Like it's weird, right? Like,
this is Sammy Blais, who just got eliminated in the playoffs. Yeah. He's on the Rangers. Yeah, that's interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, the Sammy Blais one. I'm just like.
Don't know what to say. Really.
I don't know what to say. I'm just flustered, flabbergasted. Call it whatever you want. I'm just.
It's hard to report.
Incredibly hard to report. Yeah, like what is this guy doing? What's something about guys getting eliminated? Right, like 2-3 days after getting eliminated, they do stupid shit.
Yeah.
Like this, you know.
I mean, that's probably the time to do stupid shit because you just got eliminated after a long, hard season. You're probably hammered every day, right? Your caution is to the wind.
You're not skating for the 2023 season yet?
No. You don't have to worry about training the next day. You're off for 2-3 weeks, right? So that's why if something's gonna happen, it's gonna happen now, which is crazy. So. Yeah, that's the latest drama.
No, I love that. I love opening the podcast with a little bit of a side quest there to discuss some of the drama, and not enough drama. I mean, let's face it. I think that's something we come across too often in this league. Is it's too vanilla, you know. It's too buttoned up. There's not enough drama. Not like the NBA, you know. And I think little moments like this you have to embrace and you have to cherish. And that, just look back at that Uber video, right? The Ottawa Senators in Arizona. That was unprecedented. We never got that kind of private access to players being idiots before. Yeah. And it was great. And things like this obviously don't reach that level, but I think when they do come, you have to give them their spot in the limelight. So there you have it. Very neat. Thank you for sharing.
No worries.
We move right along to the reason we are here, which is to recap the latest round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, and of course to preview what is probably the greatest Stanley Cup final in the past decade. Maybe more, depending on who you ask. So let's start with recapping what the hell happened. And you want to start with the most recent event, or do you want to start with what happened first, chronologically? Where do you want to go with this?
Let's start Colorado, or yes.
Okay, so we'll start from Colorado. Colorado versus the Oilers. A series that everyone was trumpeting as this is going to be incredible, must-watch TV, Battle of the Titans. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it reached that hype, but I would be lying if I told you I wasn't entertained. Yeah. I think all you have to do is watch the first shift of I think it was game 2, Connor McDavid on a partial breakaway on Colorado, and Cale Makar is right next to him and gives him a little poke check and pokes the puck away. That's all I needed to see to be like, this is best on best. Or Connor and McKinnon at a face-off together. Or Connor and McKinnon, one guy's going up one shift, the other guy's going up the next shift. You are seeing the two best players at the same time on the same ice surface at the very same time going back and forth. It was great theater. And I think Game 1 was great. I think Game 3 was great. I think Game 4 was great. I think the problem is there were only 4 games, I think Game 2 was a bit of a dud. Colorado played with more structure. They kind of shut it down. I think they won that game 4-0. But every single game for me was incredible. 3 of the 4 games were great theater. And I'm not surprised. I think I had Colorado in 5. So to be honest, the Colorado in 4 doesn't surprise me all too much. Good for them. I love seeing the fact they could do this despite the injuries to Kadri, Girard. It's fascinating to watch. And yeah, what else can be said about the Stars of Colorado? They showed up, and McDavid, frankly, I don't think had a great round. No. Like there were games where he straight up disappeared. Like I didn't notice him on the ice, which is shocking to say that about him. Draisaitl obviously very injured, limping out there. You knew he was done by Game 3. The guy was just not himself. So I think it was for Edmonton. It was a bit of the injuries catching up to them, and them finally meeting their match in a star-studded Colorado Avalanche team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I will agree. I mean, every game was must-watch for sure. And then, you know what? And that overtime game was that Game 4, where it went like 6-5.
Yeah.
Unbelievable game. Like it was back and forth. It was just like I couldn't believe my eyes what was happening. Yeah. So yeah. It was unbelievable. And I mean, we'd be remiss to not make the McKinnon-McDavid comparison. I mean, in this series, I don't know about you, but like for me, McKinnon seemed more dominant.
Oh, yeah.
Like you saw the power, the explosivity.
He wasn't dominant.
Now you could argue McDavid had to carry the team through the previous rounds, and maybe he was a bit tuckered out.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, a lay fan coming out of the woodwork to watch this one series, they'd say that's the best player on the ice right there, or the best forward on the ice, I should say, because Makar is a whole different conversation.
Makar was the best player in the series.
Yeah, he's a whole different. We'll get into him later, but he's a whole different conversation. But between the two, I mean, McKinnon had moments where you're like, this guy can't be touched. Whereas McDavid, whenever he got, and he was great, as always, but he almost has this more of a dainty style to him. McKinnon's like a bull in a china shop, whereas McDavid is just like pure finesse and pure skill and speed, which didn't always work out for him. And what you saw was him one-on-one, throughout the whole series with Makar and Taves. And let's be honest, like people who say this Makar character is not a good defensive defenseman, they're wrong. Certain things can get a little muddy and if they're trapped in their own zone, but this guy is unbelievable. I think what we saw was Colorado we always knew was going to win. Everybody knew that. We wish we got more games, but I think Draisaitl was banged up. McDavid was great, but not incredible. And
Oilers' depth just wasn't there.
and the defense on Edmonton and the goaltending, like you weren't gonna win, right?
Well, and here we go. So one of my videos I have loaded up, this is the TSN turning point of the entire series, okay? So I will have you watch this, and you agree or disagree with this, okay? So I'm watching this game. I watched this the following day. It was a great game. Edmonton's down 2-1, third period, game 3. Critical game because you go down 3-0, you're done. You know, you got to do something here, and this happens. It's a great moment.
Huge.
So I just played for him the Ryan McLeod tying goal. It's a great. I mean, you don't see enough goals like this anymore. You know, a guy just come down, snap it on the goalie, beats him clean, no direction, just clean, right? So you know, Edmonton they got momentum now, and this is a must win. And so you know they got a power play, they have some chances, and then you know here's where things go. Here's where things go awry here. And let's get the volume up for this. This is the TSN turning point of the entire series.
Bouchard across. Evan Bouchard again. Off the post. And Copper over the blocks. Bouchard's going to get it back in a hurry. And Copper's going to break. Scores. Leaping through. Mike Smith.
It's just so deflating, that play. We're talking, of course, about the Evan Bouchard blocked shot. JT Compher goes the other way, goes up 3-2 Colorado, third period, 5 minutes left. So deflating because they really were killing it on that power play. Bouchard had showed himself to really, he showed like stardom in this series, you know, like this is an emerging guy, you know, this guy might be something special. This is only his first full season, you know, and he was great. And you watch this and you're just like, yeah, we're watching it again here. I mean, first off, he hits it off the bar. The man almost puts his team, you know, gives them the lead. He's out there with the big boys on the power play. And then he loses 2 battles. He lets JT Compher out-muscle him.
Yeah, and he had the step on.
He did have the step. That's why it was so disappointing. Like, you have every advantage here. Like, you're clearly behind him. You're the first man.
And he sees him.
And he just gets out-muscled there. And he falls, so he can't even keep up with him. He's totally out of the play at this point. No way Draisaitl's going to catch him. He was way back. And then, of course, you mentioned the goaltending. Mike Smith, this you can't not give this up. There's no deflection. It's clean from the hash marks. He gets a piece of it, and it just fucking scuttles through.
He had an incredible game to that point. Like, Mike Smith was incredible in that game to that point.
That's the thing, and that's my revelation with Mike Smith from this series is I have never seen a goalie make as many incredible saves as Mike Smith and then shit the bed those saves you need. You know, just those easy, conventional practice, those ones the goalie coach chucks at you in practice. He can't stop those in a game. But he can make the most remarkable, like windmill, like crazy-ass Dominic Hasek saves ever, you know? And that's what I've learned about Mike Smith. I don't hate him as much as I used to. I used to say he was like a non-NHL caliber goalie, you know? I used to really be down on him. He showed me a lot. He showed me a lot of fight in this series, especially staying in there because he looked injured at times, you know? But you give up goals like that, and you can't be my goalie. If I'm the GM, I will not be signing you if you give that up. I don't care how nice those fluky saves you're making are. You got to stop that.
Yeah.
So that was the turning point for me. When that happened, I knew the series was done, and that's why I don't even want to talk to you about the 6-5 Game 4 game, because once this game was over, that game was nothing to me. We went out to celebrate that night, and I didn't even want to pay attention to that game because I knew it was meaningless. That game was meaningless.
Right. 100%. But this is like, I mean, we all talk about the championship DNA of Tampa Bay, but plays like this are a championship DNA making themselves present. Like a JT Compher third liner coming out of the box and just absolutely out-muscling. Yeah, like it's just amazing to see because it what really became apparent in this series, and especially at the end of it, was Colorado's not messing around this year. They've obviously learned something. Each and every player is dialed in and ready to go. Like, that's why I'm going to have a very hot take for the next, not a hot take, but just a take for the round to come. But this team's ready. They're well rested now, and yeah, I mean, they've been extremely dominant. And from game one, you knew this series was not happening.
Yeah.
It wasn't going to be something to write home about kind of thing. But very entertaining. Very entertaining. This would have been amazing in like a first round. I think this would have been a great first round series. Everyone's healthy. McDavid's healthy. Draisaitl. You truly have the guns going at it. That might have helped Edmonton a little bit, but still, I don't think the result would have been all that different.
Okay, we move right along to the most recent series. Rangers in Tampa. Kind of what I would call David against Goliath. You know, you had a team no business being there. No one in their right mind had the Rangers going to the East Final against, the potential dynasty. And, incredible start. Rangers going up 2-0. I think everyone was shocked to see that.
So I have to jump in here. Because you were following in the chat, or did you exit at that point?
I exited a while ago.
Did you really? Okay. So here's what happened in the chat. We got a group chat for all the Rink Moose guys. Game 1 happened. Game 2 is about to start. As you know, Tampa, in this long run they've had, they've never lost back-to-back games. Vasilevsky has never lost back-to-back games. I told the whole group, and I told you separately, New York's winning this game. I have a feeling New York, out of all teams, is going to snap this weird streak that's going. And why New York, I don't know, but I have a feeling. And it happened. I also predicted them to win at the beginning of the fight because I was being a dick. But this one, I predicted, I had a feeling, and it did happen. I have to get that out there.
I mean, it was incredible. I think you were right to make that prediction because Tampa did not look themselves those first 2 games. They looked tired. They looked like they just were out of practice, and that's what happens when you have a long break. And we'll see how that plays into this coming series. But the point is, they did not look themselves. The Stars did not look themselves. The Rangers were great at home. They fed off the energy, of playing at home, all playoffs really, and they take a 2-0 lead. They take a 2-0 lead in Game 3. They're going to the third period with a commanding 2-0 lead. You win that game, that's a dagger in their heart. I know it's Tampa, but there's a good chance you got to win one of the next 4 games. I like your chances.
Yeah.
2 of those at home? Yeah. I'll take that every day. But Tampa just they found another gear. They turned it on. That Andre Palat goal to make it 3-2 with just a minute left. It was just the magic. It was that's those hockey gods. It's those hockey gods in that moment just take over. And most importantly, Rangers just couldn't muster even strength chances in this series. Both those goals in that Game 3, power play goals. The Zibanejad one-timer, all that shit. But they could not, even strength, they were just out of it. That Cirelli line had that Zibanejad line just muffled the whole series. And kudos to Tampa. I like the Elliot Friedman quote on 32 Thoughts. He's like, he had an executive text him when that game was 2-2 in Game 3, and he said, "Next goal wins the series." I love just like these like short, sweet statements that next goal win the series, and he was right. They went on to win the next 4 games, and that's how it works sometimes. There's a turning point, and that was it. So, not surprised by the result. I think I had Tampa in 6, so I think my prediction was right there. Rangers. I mean, good experience for them, as we've been talking about all series. Good for the boys. What did you think of the Kakko scratch Game 6?
That's been getting a lot of play.
It has. I hate it. I'm gonna say Gerard Gallant got completely outclassed by John Cooper in this series. And you mentioned 5-on-5. I will absolutely bring up the fact that the kid line was probably the most consistent 5-on-5 line they had. Consistent. It's been getting a lot of hype, but they were actually incredible at generating scoring chances and maintaining pressure in the offensive zone. Yet they would get less than 13 minutes every night. And then in the final game, classic Gallant, playing not to lose, not playing to win, he scratches Kakko and muffles the whole thing up. So it's ridiculous. And I remember there was a game, Laffy was having a great game, and I think it was Game 5, and you were texting me, "Oh, he's not even playing." I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Because in the first period, he's the best Ranger. and now he's not even playing. Gallant, he's so scared to make a bold play. He has no confidence in his ability to manage the game, and it showed. Like, he got completely outclassed. Yes, the Rangers took an amazing step, and God, I can't wait for this. For the future of this team, the future of our boy, of your keeper. That kept me up last night, by the way. I couldn't sleep. I was like, Nick's going to have Laffy all next season. Yeah. He's going to be great. Yeah. I was thinking about the show. I was like, this guy, I was texting Joe today, and I was like, Joe, listen. This guy is exactly what every single team, he's a leader. He honestly was probably the most consistent effort-wise. He had elite level effort. He fought Stamkos. That shows leadership. He was incredible. There was moments where you're like, wow, this guy is the amazing.
Game 6 was incredible.
Oh my God. And you know what? The other thing I mentioned was when did he play his best game of the series? Was elimination, third period. He's at some point he's like, you know what? I know I've got the skill. Let me try to do this, because 5-on-5 we're not getting fucking anywhere. And it's like, when this guy finally takes the reins to say, this is my team, and I can be bold, I can be confident, I can do what I want, then you're gonna see what we've all been waiting for. And in the meantime, he's a player that everyone loves. He's a player that puts in elite level effort, and he might not score 100 points, Nick, but he's gonna be like a guy that everybody wants, and he's gonna be well-rounded. And just an incredible guy.
It's the best time to buy into his stock, you know, because it's still low enough to be like, oh, but there's enough potential to be like, this kid can be special, you know. I needed a refresher. You brought up fantasy, so you took him in round 7. Yeah. So according to our rule, he was a free agent. I think there's he gets bumped 2 rounds if I keep him, so he'll be a 9th round pick. Right. I consider that fair value. I'm fine with that. I don't believe he'll live up to round 9 this next. No. But if that's every year, I get him in round 9. Yeah. You know, I'm happy with that. Just to put into perspective, round 9, Mackenzie Weegar, Spencer Knight, Binnington, Pionk, Fiala, Besser, Demko. It's round 9 in a 10-man league. So there you have it. Cool. Yeah. No. He had a great. He's not the reason they lost. That we can all agree on that. And I'm proud of the guy. I think he was fantastic. So
what he also did was he won the hearts of every skeptical Rangers fan. Like, there was a lot of skeptical Rangers fans. He's won the hearts of everybody with this playoffs. And I don't want to give a fuck. I don't give a shit about what Jack Hughes does in the regular season. Like, I'm taking Laffy every day, every single day.
Yeah.
Fuck Jack Hughes.
No, I agree. And you know, that team, I think they've shown that the future is extremely bright. That Keandre Miller, you know, great series. Another good Friedman quote. He's like, I don't think this guy's going to be a good point guy. Like, he's not going to be that. But he's going to, for the next 15 years, he's going to play in your top 4. That's Keandre Miller. And if you get that with the round 27th, if you get that with the 27th pick in the draft, which I think is when they took him, something like 25th or something, that's great.
The other guy there is Braden Schneider, rookie defenseman, 20 years old, absolutely fit in, didn't stand out, which is great. And, you know, Miller, Fox, Schneider for the next 10, 15 years.
Don't forget about that Lindgren fellow. He showed so much fight, that guy. He took so many bruises and blocked shots, and he dealt with so much shit. And that guy had a coming out party for the ages, I think.
This team's going to be this is going to be a perennial go deep kind of team. They've built it in such a way.
Yeah, just hopefully they make some moves, you know, to kind of get Laff more time in the spotlight, you know. I'd really like that. Get rid of Strome.
Oh, get rid of him.
He missed an empty net.
Oh, that'll go down in history. They're already putting it down in history. Like, I think he's run himself out of town.
Like Ferraro, he was calling the game live, and he's like, I don't know about that pass that was made to Strome. That pass was kind of off. And then they showed the replay, and he was like, oh, I'm sorry. That's an incredible pass. Strome just missed the net. So yeah.
Yeah. Hedl at 2C, Kako at 2 right wing, and then Laffy might have to go right wing, line 1. It's the only way I can see it happening, you know.
And then second best goalie in the world.
Yeah, it's a good formula. And the defense, core that we just talked about. What do you want? What more do you want?
I think they need the right coach. You know, he got out coached.
Zibanejad proved us both wrong. He had a great playoff. Did you see?
He'll always be a streaky guy though. Like that narrative hasn't changed.
Sure.
I'd rather to have Crosby than Zibanejad any day.
Oh, yeah. Did you see the Kreider end of year presser? Oh, you got to see it. It's so hard. Kreider starts tearing up and crying when asked about Mika Zibanejad, saying, you know what? It's just special when a leader steps up like that." And he teared up and he had to leave the room.
Really?
It was crazy. It was a crazy. Yeah, we're gonna pull up the video here.
That's really something.
Oh, it's just. Where is it here? That might be it.
Was it post game or was it?
It was year end, like they're cleaning up the locker room kind of thing.
So he's not sitting next to Zibanejad in the video.
No, he's alone.
And it's the last thing he says.
Yep, he leaves the room after that. So just skip to the end, maybe. Yeah. Turn it up.
Obviously, a sign of respect. Do you look at that and say that's the confidence builder? That's what you are now in this league.
Yeah, I mean it's a challenge, and it's difficult, but it's hard to get frustrated in moments like that because it's a sign of respect. And like I couldn't be more proud of his response. I mean, it's very contagious when you know your leader, you know, best player on your team, guy that does everything for you, rises to the challenge, you know, night in, night out.
Wow.
An active lifestyle.
Wow.
Very emotional.
Yeah, this is it's going to be a great team. It's shaping up to be something that we'd want to watch every year, and it's easy to cheer for, right?
Which is surprising to hear from you because you were never a Rangers guy. You didn't like the team. You liked the player. You hated the jersey. You hated the team.
Correct.
So it sounds like your narrative has completely changed. You are a Rangers fan.
Oh, fuck. Well, I mean that's the thing, you know, when I go in and I say the Rangers suck. And they found a way to win people over this year, you know. Even though they beat my Pittsburgh Penguins, even though they kind of got through some series in a shiesty way, they found a way to do it. Certain guys stepped up. They've got likable characters. You can add Kreider to that list now, and it's just an intriguing future. Above any other team in this league, the future of the New York Rangers is so bloody intriguing, and that's what I think will keep people coming back. And if they did that this year, I also made a mention that, you know, they're not ready to win this year. It's when these kids graduate to the top 6 and prominent roles, that's when they're ready to go for it. I don't think that's next year. I think that next year's going to be a feeling out process for the kids in their new roles. After that, once they get settled in, like, look out, this is going to be an awesome team to follow. Yeah.
Okay, well, can we check right along to the preview now?
Look at all the yellow.
Yeah, I don't know what any of that means. I pulled it up for the sake of the lineups, but nevertheless, we move right along. Stanley Cup Final, best in a decade, at the very least. You can argue that. Tampa Bay Lightning, Colorado Avalanche commences tomorrow, Wednesday, the 15th of June, 8 o'clock on ESPN, ABC, and Sportsnet. Brought to you by Vizzy Seltzer. Yeah, so here we are. It's the final everyone wanted. I kick at myself for not predicting this one. I should have. Yeah, too many people weren't picking Tampa, you know?
Yeah.
They were disrespected.
You know, oftentimes in hockey, you don't want to go with what you think is logical because it never happens that way. But as chance would have it, we got the two best teams in the final. That's at the end of the day, I think that's what we should have, and this is going to be fireworks, and we're so fortunate to have it this way. So, yeah, very exciting. Scotty, if you're listening, you're winning. I think is he locked in to win?
Sucks being second, you know?
Yeah. Is he locked in to win, do you think? Yeah. So I'll send him the money.
Yeah, you may as well. That's awful. Yeah, so there you have it. That's our cup final. What's that? You could have funded my speakers. Well, I'll get into what's going to fund those speakers shortly. Okay, yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I guess I'll get right into it. I mean, here's the thing. Bet365 has a deal right now where if you deposit $1 in their system, they will give you $250 betting credits. No. Yes. No. Yes. No. So I put in a $1 bet. I bet on a baseball game last night. I got my $250 this morning, and I have $250. Yep. $250, and I have put $400 on the Tampa Bay Lightning to win the Stanley Cup. I think that's totally fine. That's a fair bet. I wasn't going to do this. But when I was in the car the other day, one of my friends mentioned Tampa's the underdog. And I was shocked. I was shocked to hear that the Tampa Bay, the team that's won the last 2 cups, is an underdog, and it's good value for you bookies out there. It's plus 155, which is pretty good. And yeah, that's the payout if I'm successful. It will fund my speakers.
How much did you actually put into it?
150, and if they win, I get 800.
You will fail. I'm sorry. You will.
I don't care. Like, I think that's a good bet. You're quadrupling plus your money for Tampa to win another cup. And they've shown no reason why they're going to lose. You know? Like, they show no reason why they're going to kick themselves in the foot. And you can look at all these stats. You could look at all these things. I don't have to look at anything either. This is all I need to hear. Are you ready for this?
Sure.
I told you about a particular John Cooper interview going into Game 7 of the game against the Leafs, and I said I should have put 500 large on Tampa that night. After this quote, this fired me up. You ready for this? This is going to haunt your dreams. This is right before Game 7 against the Leafs. Fantastic quote.
I'm trying to put this the right way. There's no fear for you guys, right? I mean, it's all opportunity. It's all upside. You're chasing history, chasing a dynasty, right? Like, it's not like 2 years ago, right? Is it completely different feeling for you in a situation like this?
I don't know. There's always fear for me. I mean, the fear of losing might be bigger than the want to win. And so that's for me personally. I think if you're not playing with a little bit of fear of losing, that's a great motivator. And so I don't want anybody to sit here and say, well, is it easier because we've won 2 cups? If the Leafs get the best of us tonight, it's okay. That's BS. We're standing here like on the cusp of greatness, and why the hell wouldn't we charge through that door? So I want to, let's go get this. Let's go attack this. And if fear is the motivator, then so be it. But I don't want there being any excuse if it doesn't go well for us tonight, like, oh, it's okay, we've won 2. That'd be unacceptable.
That's good. That's good. Give me your reactions.
I've seen that one, and it is fucking good. It is so fucking good. I don't think you'll get that kind of quote out of Jared Bednar, but Jared Bednar is from Saskatoon. So you better watch your shit.
And you're telling me this guy's from Saskatoon. That's reason alone.
Bednar would look at that, shake his head, and say, "Bring it on." That's what he's saying right now. He's unflapped. He's unflappable.
He's a pretty unflappable guy.
So
actually, no, he's not. I remember when they went. They remember when they lost in that the Vegas series when they went up 2-0 and then they lost a game to make it 2-1 Vegas. And he called out all of his players. Or he's like, Grubauer was our best player tonight. Everyone else better get their shit together. Like he called them all out. It was supposed to be him trying to fire up his team. They went on to lose the next 3 games and they lost the series. Wow. So it did not work out for Mr. Saskatoon, and I think he's going to get outcoached in this series by Mr. Koopa. And then, beyond that quote, let's get into the depth chart. Better goaltender.
For who?
Tampa Bay.
I disagree.
Best goalie in the world. I think their defense may not move the puck as well, but I think they are a grindier defensive unit. You know, like this. I told you I have concerns about Jack Johnson. He should not be in the lineup, but he is. Bowen Byram's been fantastic, but he's still young.
He's fantastic.
Josh Manson has shown some terrible, awful moments in the playoffs. I don't know about great, maybe good. I love their units here. Hedman and Ruta, McDonough and Cernak, Sergachev, Bogosian. He's been a veteran. You don't need to play Hedman with a great guy because Hedman is two guys. He counts as two guys, you know? And then look, their depth up front, you know, like I like their third line better. I like Cirelli, Killorn, and Hagel more than Comfer, Burakovsky, and Kubel. I, on my fourth line, would love to have Corey Perry because the man does not lose. Patrick Maroon has won 3 straight cups. He's going for his 4th in a row. That man does not lose. And then you have Nick Paul from Chesswood Arena, local boy. How can you bet against him? Braden Point's back from injury, either game 1 or game 2. It's happening. Kadri's out. You can race that. And Steven Stamkos is playing the best hockey of his life. So I'm just not enough of these guys impress me, unfortunately.
How can you make that statement?
I'm not as fired up looking at this Colorado lineup. I like their coach of Tampa better, and I think his quote motivates me to put $400 on them.
I am blown away by this one-sided analysis. The money is in your head too much. You're thinking of speakers. You're thinking of your gaming experience. It's ridiculous. I'll give you the goaltending. I will concede the goaltending. Okay.
I do like the fourth line of Colorado a lot. Cogliano went to my high school. He's shown he's been a great fit for them, blocking shots, penalty kill. No. He's fit like a glove. Darren Helm scored the big overtime winner. He's always been a playoff guy. He won those cups with Detroit. I really like this fourth line of Colorado. I really do. But the third line does not fire me up as much of Colorado. And the second line without Kadri, that's a glaring omission. He's fit in like a glove. Artturi Lehkonen's been fantastic in these playoffs. Montreal doesn't know what they're losing. And Mikko Rantanen has shown to me why he's getting paid $9 million a year. I know a lot of people may look at him. People in watching in LA or Florida might go, who's Rantanen? Why is he getting paid so much? Who's this Rantanen? But he's really impressed me. All sides of the ice, two-way player. He's been fantastic. And this Val Nichushkin has basically inserted himself. He went from a depth player to now being a top 6 guy wherever he goes. If they can't keep him going forward, he's going to be a top 6 anywhere he goes because that is the definition of a power forward. They're an incredible team. They've impressed at every stage of the playoffs so far. St. Louis pushed them, but we knew how that was going to end. Despite the way St. Louis pushed them, we all knew how that series was going to end. But I think you are matching up against a dynasty. You're matching him up against the 80s Oilers, the 80s Islanders, the late 70s Canadians. That is what you're matching up against. And you do not bet on against dynasties. You don't do it. And like John Cooper said, they're on the eve of greatness. Why not barge through that door? The last 2 cups have been flukes. COVID Cup, a shortened season cup. This puts you on that monument. This puts you on Mount Rushmore. So I think they have every motivation to do this, and I'm convinced they're going to get it done. I have never been more confident about a pick ever.
That's got to be your top 5 worst moment on this show. On this show, I want to clip this for the rest of the time. You can. Because you nailed it. The last 2 cups have been flukes. Mm-hmm. They've found a way to care more when other teams didn't care at all. They've never faced a team like this. Nope, they have not.
Not yet.
They have not.
But Colorado has never faced a team like this. They had an easy route.
No. I know you and Joe like to say so.
They did.
But I'll tell you this. St. Louis is a much better team than the New York Rangers.
They are.
And they absolutely cracked the code. And Nashville was, you know what? They beat St. Louis in 6. They did so convincingly. The underlying stats would have said it should have been a 4-game series. The other 2 series they swept in 4 games. Colorado has not shown a single crack in the armor this whole playoffs. Tampa Bay has had stretches versus the Leafs, versus the Rangers, where they've looked like, is this team even trying? Is this an AHL team? They have wobbled at speed at some points. Well, doesn't matter.
Other rounds don't matter because they're not the final.
Well, they're gonna have to try every single
They're
game
gonna try.
in this.
They're
In this,
gonna win.
what team is hungrier?
Tampa.
Disagree. What team is healthier?
Tampa.
Disagree. Forget.
They
They
don't have point back.
points injured. So is Kadri. Like they
Points
cancel
back
out.
Sooner.
We don't know that.
I think he's back in
We
game
don't.
one or
That's
two.
that's hearsay. That's just talk.
Kadri's not back game 1 or 2.
We don't know that. He could be back game. Like even if he wasn't, no one would say anything. If he was, no one would say anything. It's just the way it is. And then yes, I'll give you the goaltending. However, that his streak has been broken. His back-to-back streak broken by the Rangers. So one
He's
chink
still,
in the armor.
He's still an octopus.
Sure, whatever.
Everyone else is an octopus.
Whatever, sure. But you've never seen this deep pairing right here, Taves and Makar,
Is
are
incredible.
doing historic things.
There's no pair better.
There's no pair better.
That's the best defenseman in the world.
Victor Hedman is the best defenseman. That's an absolute farce. It's a farce. He's not even the number one shutdown defenseman. That's Ryan McDonough. He gets all the toughest matchups.
That's why I'm even more confident about my pick because I get the best defenseman in the world and I get the best shutdown defenseman in the
What makes you say Hedman is the best defenseman in the world?
Well, he's a masterful defenseman. On the defensive end, he can shut down seemingly anyone. On the power play, he's an elite defenseman on the power play. He can move the puck well. He can defend 1-on-1 well. He can clog up lanes. He can block shots, and he's a leader. And he's won 2 Norris trophies already. The guy's a legend. He's a legend. He's legend status. Makar has shown his kinks in the armor defensively, and I anticipate that will continue here in the final round.
You have a lot of clippable moments in this show.
I can't wait
Did you?
for them all to be right
We are not going to Colorado together. It cannot happen
because of this.
because of this dynamic. Yeah.
And all the money I have
Yeah.
down on.
I'm gonna read you some facts about Cale Makar.
Sure.
Okay.
He had 3 points in the St. Louis series in 6 games.
Okay. So?
That's like measly.
No.
He had 9 and 4 against Edmonton, but how did he only have 6 against St. Louis?
Did
3.
did he make impact elsewhere? Yes. Yes.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Of course he did. All 23 guys on that team made an impact.
Okay. So what's fucking Hedman's point production like? Given that he's not being relied upon as the shutdown guy.
But over 82 games, he's always the guy I want.
Okay. I can't believe what I'm hearing. I just can't believe it. Cale Makar is the okay, so D-men with a higher point per game in a single playoff include 2 players. Paul Coffey and Bobby Orr. That's simply it. So Makar through 3 rounds is the 3rd highest point per game in NHL history. There's been 4 instances where a defenseman has recorded at least 9 points in a 4-game playoff stretch. 2 of the 4 belong to Cale Makar this year. Wayne Gretzky compares him to Bobby Orr in terms of his impact all over the ice. So how can you say Hedman is the guy to watch? I'm not even talking about the defense. I've got fucking other stats to show you this team has not let Connor McDavid, the best player in the world, not get a sniff. We're not in rush chances. It's unbelievable what these guys are able to do.
We're not picking the series based on individuals. We're picking the series based on the team, the 21-man roster, and these are guys who got it done twice already, and they've been flustered. They went down 3-2 against the Leafs. They went down 2-0 against the Rangers, and they have responded like champions. And you look at every, statistic. Colorado's never gone up against they did go up against an elite power play in Edmonton, but Tampa's got a same power play, like a same devastatingly good power play, So those mitigate each other. And then the PK, supposedly the Colorado PK is not as good as the Tampa PK. That's what I've been reading. So I think that will be a factor in this series. special teams, it always is, especially with the way the refs are calling these games, where seemingly any high stick is being called. And I just think special teams will be critical, goaltending will be critical. Those two factors, I give the edge to Tampa Bay.
Colorado, healthier, hungrier, more talented. I don't know if you can debate any of those things. How can the human psyche be hungrier than a team that's never won when you've won 2 years in a row? It's impossible. It's impossible. And Colorado's they've learned lesson. They've taken lumps. You know, they should have been a finals team the last 3 years. Steven Stamkos said it himself. And this is just and I'm going so far as to say that the storyline here will be this is the end of the idea of Tampa Bay being a dynasty, and this is where Colorado starts their dynasty quest. I think they win this year. I think they win next year.
That would be great theater.
It would be, and this is the passing of the torch. Like Tampa Bay, I'm telling you, they've shown speed wobbles. They've never faced a team like this. They like to muck it up. They like to shut it down. I don't think they can shut down some of these players. Like they've never ever faced this before.
I think it's a different of philosophies, right? Like the way I see my cups being won is by you allowing less goals than the opposition, not scoring more. You know, that's the way I've always viewed the game, especially in these times. And I think Tampa just knows how to shut down a team better than Colorado, and so for that reason, I'm going Tampa.
Your best player, Kucherov, has been wildly inconsistent. Wildly inconsistent.
He's scoring at an elite rate.
He is, but he disappears for entire games.
But when he does come, no one.
When he shows up, no one can do what he does. Colorado, I mean, they got weapons. I'm not going to argue against them. They're a fantastic team, but I think goaltending is an incredibly important part of the game, and Colorado's goaltending has been in shambles. Serviceable, but in shambles. One guy was injured. He's just coming back. The other guy gave up that awful goal to Ryan Strome we just watched.
Well, it's not awful.
It was an awful goal. It beat him clean. He should have had that.
That wasn't Ryan Strome.
Dylan Strome.
No, that was
McLeod. So yeah, I'm just.
Backup. Kemper
Yeah,
was
but
playing.
we'll see. We'll see. After that eye injury, we haven't seen the guy.
Oh my God.
We don't know what he's been doing. Has he been practicing?
He's ready to go.
I know he's ready to go, but he hasn't.
Saying he's ready
But he hasn't played a game yet. He's been sitting on that bench for a long time. That's like me going a whole off season and then chucking me into the first game of intramurals. You don't.
Your best players are rested as fuck.
Yeah, well, Vasilevsky's done it time and time again, and he's an octopus.
He's human, and the Rangers broke his record. Like the guy, I'm telling you.
Couldn't score him after that.
They went to 7 games versus the Leafs. That should be all I have to say. That should be it. It's a joke. It's not a joke. It's gonna be an amazing series, but I gotta say Colorado in 6 games, and I was gonna say 5. I just don't want to hurt your feelings.
Yeah, I'm going Tampa in 7. Tampa in 7 games. So there's gonna be clips one way or another. You're either gonna be catastrophically wrong, or I'm gonna be catastrophically wrong. You know, there's only one way to do it. So this is it.
We're gonna see truly some special stuff, historic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We're either gonna see Tampa Bay make history, or we're gonna see. I mean, we've got historic performances out of Makar and McKinnon as we speak. Historic. So we're either gonna see that continue, which we probably will, or that's it. But Hedman's overrated. 100% he is. And Kucherov is inconsistent. So, hey, I think, like I said it round 1. Tampa Bay is overhyped. I said it. You think, talk about the other teams, like Leafs lose every fucking year. They suck. They find a way to lose. And the Rangers are the Rangers. Come on. And Florida's a joke.
President's Trophy winners.
Tampa versus St. Louis would have been a great series. Amazing series. That would have gone the distance. That would have gone 7. So that's all I'm going to say.
I'm just about done here. I've had enough, and I've made my case, and I'm one of those, you know me, I'm one of those people who just I rest on interviews like that John Cooper interview, and that's all I need to hear.
Bowen Byram is a young Duncan Keith. Agree?
One day he'll probably be that. Yeah.
He's that now. He's amazing.
He's untested. He's unseasoned.
He beat McKinnon.
He's unseasoned. And Jack Johnson is not an NHL defenseman. He's going to have to play.
Neither's Jan Ruta.
Jan Ruta's won 2 cups playing on the top pair.
He's not.
He's played on the top pair in 2 cups.
One thing you forgot to mention with your little chart there that I don't know why he's not. Alex Newhook is ready and waiting in the wings to be plugged in. He's been amazing this entire playoffs. You can plug him in right here. You can plug him in right here. Hagel?
Yeah.
I don't know about that. He's been pretty average.
First-round picks.
He's just a guy. Alex Newhook is a game changer.
Okay.
Potentially.
Let's see.
We saw it in the final Edmonton game.
Let's see some more. I gotta
You can plug in a black ace like that. Unbelievable.
Yeah. In the second the tide turns and Colorado starts winning the series, Corey Perry's going to fucking injure that guy who's leading them, and then they're going to fucking fall apart. Corey Perry, that man I want on my team. I feel so much better with that guy on my team.
And what do you think Kadri's going to do to Vasilevsky?
Kadri's not going to be in the series.
Kadri will come into the series injured as fuck to injure Vasilevsky. Worse than what Corey Perry will do, I guarantee it.
Hey, that's another storyline to watch. It's those dirty players and what kind of effect they have on this. So we shall see.
Down Binnington. We'll do it again.
Just take down goalies. That's how you win a cup. That's just how they drew it up. Okay, well, that does it, folks. I think Kyle and I are just about exasperated with each other at this point. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens here. You may or may not hear from us. We may or may not venture out to one of these cities to catch a game. But irregardless, we hope you enjoyed the episode. We're coming up on an hour here, so we will end it here. Thank you for joining us. Please enjoy the Stanley Cup Final. As we said, it's going to be one of the best yet. And this is must-watch TV. You know, usually we get to the end of June. You know, people are tired. Hockey fans are sick of the sport. No one watched that Cup Final last year, but you. And that's the reality. This couldn't. No one watched that.
All of Canada.
So this, and unlike that one, this one will actually live up to the hype. So there you have it, folks. So yeah, please enjoy, and please tune into our next episode when we recap all things Stanley Cup Final and look forward to our favorite time of season, the NHL Draft, headlined by Shane Wright. So until then, folks, enjoy the final, and it's been a pleasure serving you this lovely afternoon. Rink Moose is signing off.